your mom get back from her Canterlot trip? Is she there, or is she trying to give me the slip? No, I'm not the little colt that I used to be. I'm all grown up, I'm a stallion, can't you see? Bart's mom has got it going on. She's all that I want, and I've waited for so long. Barton, can't you see? You're just not the call for me. I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Barton's mom. Barton's mom has got it going on. Barton's mom has got it going on. Button, do you remember when we gamed all night? Your mom came in just to turn out the light. I could tell she liked me from the way she stared. And the way she said, "You missed a mob over there."
Wait, what?
And I know that you think it's just a fantasy, but since your dad ain't home, your mom could use a guy like me. Barton's mom has got it going on. She's all that I want, and I've waited for so long. Barton, can't you see that she's just the man for me? I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Barton's mom. Barton's mom has got it going on. She's all I want, and I've waited for so long. Barton, can't you see that she's just the man for me? I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Barton's mom. Yeah, I'm in love with Barton's mom. Wait a minute. Barton, can't you see that she's just the man for me? I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Barton's mom.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another Winchester Wednesdays. I'm your host, Winchester 572. And yes, here I am. Here we are, another Wednesday. We shall be doing yet another reading. So yes, I've got my big, comically large bowl of French fries and my small, what's left of my small rack of ribs. And yes, oh yeah, by the way, deer season went well. I got a reasonably sized buck. So yeah, without further ado, I have a feeling we're missing some good stuff going on in the Discord call here. So let's just get on into it. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, what do you mean he's drinking cocaine? He doesn't drink no cocaine.
What did I tell you?
Drink,
Oh my
I
God,
don't drink, I don't drink.
No.
Cocaine.
When they changed the Coke recipe, it went to shit,
Old man,
man.
take it.
Look,
Shut up.
Look, I went down to the place and it's 100% pure and Colombian and gluten-free.
Gluten-free. And mom says she still doesn't
Stop
love
speaking Chinese.
Ching chong, ching chong.
Oh, you mean like
Percy,
this?
grab the beating stick.
Oh God, he's got one of the
They're in the
mechanical
trees.
beating sticks.
They're in the trees. Run, run.
Alrighty. Now with 90% of our show crew that is in the trees, apparently. Yes. So here we are. Today we have yet another reading. So let me get you introduced to the cast here of our show. So starting out, we have my lovely co-host, Crazy Matt Captain and Sky Rays.
Hello.
You scared the old crazy people. You're not supposed to do that. They're gonna come back with guns, you know.
I'm ready.
That'll it'll take them a while though, so probably by the end of the stream they'll be back.
Anyways. Next up, we have my wonderful fanfic editor, Double R Forest.
I am legally obligated to visit these two old people.
Yes. Yes, you are. Have fun giving them their medications. Ah!
That's supposed to be the employee's job here. Not me. I don't even work here.
And speaking
Winchester, you
of
forgot a little head.
old people, we have our resident Time Lord, Larsus.
On tonight's program, the folks from What Not to Wear show us how not to drive, CMC nurses a small fire, and Commander Something takes the new Ferrari Roma around for a short drive around the Ebola-drome.
And more at 5.
Ebola? What is this, 2016?
Maybe. Yeah, Winchester, you're missing a zebra up.
So I am.
That's racist.
Well, I am racist, so. And speaking of people that get angry and yell at people, we have Datsmore.
I'm pretty sure right now that there's a wasp thorn. What are those things? The stinger, like in my arm. I'm pretty sure that's what this is, and I don't know how the hell it got there or how long it's been there.
Wasp thorn. That is my new
Yes,
term for those.
Wasp thorn. Yes.
Wasp Thorn is the name of my new punk band. We're starting up. Datsmore over there's the lead singer.
No, that's not a wasp singer. That's just the RFID chip.
It's the RFID chip from our new new album, Wasp Thorn.
From our new van.
Yeah, we got a van and we got an album and we're going on tour and you're all gonna listen to it.
Look, they pay me to sing. They don't pay me to think.
That's obvious. Yes.
They're keeping track of you with that.
So
you don't
just
get lost.
curious, is your first album going to be titled The Power of 1 and 2?
Nah, that's the seminal album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Power 1 and 2 is what we're going to release in about 9 years after the breakup and we come back together. We all get back together because of the Power 1 and 2.
Yeah, we've all got it planned.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be breaking out of the band due to a crippling cocaine addiction, and then addition to my life. I'm going to add some cocaine into my life, and it's going to just ruin everything. And we're just going to break up after that point. We got it all planned out.
Perfect.
Yeah. What is 1 cocaine plus 2 cocaine?
No cocaine, if you're doing it correctly.
And speaking of cocaine, we have Lycan.
With all this talk about Joker, I actually had a clown open the door for me yesterday. He was such a nice jester.
Please ban this man. Please ban this man from every establishment that I ever have to be in with him.
Datsmore, why do you think that he wasn't actually technically on my crew? He was the musician handler.
Oh, fair enough. All right, never mind. It's already been taken care of.
Nice. Alrighty. So yeah, that's everybody introduced. We actually don't have to stall for anyone today, which is kind of weird when we have both Larsus and Datsmore in a call together.
I know, it's weird.
I'm weird.
We're all weird.
Am I? Can I be weird?
No.
No.
You made the joke.
You're the most.
Can't be
You have to be
weird.
completely normal.
What about me?
I don't know how to be normal.
You get to teach Lycan how to be normal, Double R.
Use your hands.
Use your hands and plenty of lube, and he'll be normal soon enough.
Ignore the fact that he keeps bending over.
Yes.
Oh, it actually got hands in this episode too. Oh, cool.
But the lube is better with other appendages.
Well, it's claws, but it still works.
Oh, I hope I have hands.
You may have hands, but do you have fingertips?
'Cause
No,
that would be
that's more.
handy.
That's more. You don't have hands. You got it going on.
I understand that, but do you think that I have enough going on to convince somebody to give me their hands?
I don't know. Is your name Lyra?
I don't know. Are you a raccoon that likes to have a giant gun and rides around on a walking tree?
I don't know. Not today, at least.
Hmm.
I thought that was a whole arm.
No, that was actually a leg, but he's moving up in the world or the body.
Well, I thought they was trying to steal Bucky's arm.
No,
He's
just a
creating
hand.
his own army.
We aren't talking about Napoleon sleeves, okay?
Yeah, can we actually just read instead?
First, we have to steal some arms from somewhere.
I have some arms.
Steal your own arm.
Who's next on the list there, Winchester?
I think that I went through everyone
You went through everyone?
that wants to be mentioned.
You forgot the person who's lurking in the chat. That's right. You all know and love him. Tech disc.
Oh my god, dude! Dude, it's been like fucking years since he's been on here. I forgot about him. I forgot about fucking Tech Disc.
I don't forget about Tech Disc.
Well, he never shows up around here.
Well, you don't poke him like I do, which is
What am I supposed
publicly in
to do
this
if
chat.
What am I supposed to do if he responds?
Give him a part. He can play Aaron while CMC plays Sunflower.
Wait. But then that would like go across whole chapter. Actually,
I know.
Sunflower is like Sunflower probably for almost all of this, nearly all of this story.
Yeah, we got
Doubler.exe has stopped responding.
Yeah, we got quite a few chapters to go before Aaron comes back.
Actually, I think we have to like get to like the side in between the side stories in between Project Sunflower 1 and 2.
Wait, you mean when we start Fallout Equestria?
Yeah.
No, where all the ponies watch the Avengers.
Oh.
Wait, we're starting Fallout Equestria? Let me get my book.
Yes.
I made that script all those years ago, and we never did shit with it. Remember all those like 3 years ago where I was popping those things out like a hospital, those chapters.
Yes, and I still feel bad about it.
Yeah. What do you do?
But let's move on from past mistakes and move on into new mistakes, and let's have Larsa start us off.
All right, that's right. Tonight we're going to continue to read Slave Training on... Oh, wait, that's X2. Let me close that. Project Sunflower by Hoopy McGee, as well as The Elegant Universe by Brian Greene. During the last 30 years of his life, Albert Einstein sought relentlessly... I don't think this is what you guys want me to read on air, is it?
What do you mean we're reading something from Brian Greene? You didn't give me the chapters like...
I'm sure it's fine.
I cannot work like this.
Does it talk about Pluto?
Yes, actually, Pluto is mentioned in this book.
Oh dear. We're gonna get into some controversy.
So yeah, tonight we're going to continue reading Project Sunflower by Hoopy McGee, who we're told is his actual legal name in Norway. I'll be narrating tonight. Datsmore does, in fact, have it going on because he's playing Twilight's mom. Double R is going to play Twilight Sparkle. Lycan is going to play a new character named Greta, who's an assassin who comes in from Russia. Greta was raised in a school over there where they learn how to be American.
Oh, having me on the show, you won't regret this.
Okay. CMC is going to play Aaron / Sunflower. Skyrays is going to play Spike. Nimbus will be played by Winchester. And for once in our lives, we have one person playing one character.
And Datsmore is my mom now.
That's right, honey.
Hey, at least
now
he's not
go
your
to your
grandpa
room
this
and
time.
don't come out.
So this is Project Sunflower by Hoopy McGee. Chapter 14, The Weeping Somnambulist. That's where you start.
I'm aware. I'm just getting in. I'm getting in the zone. I'm looking at.
I'm saying for once on one of these, I don't start. It's weird.
I think that's the wrong chapter title, though.
Oh, ADAYINTHECITY, The Weeping Somnambulist.
Well, good morning, sleepyhead. Breakfast is on the table, and please keep the noise down. Your father had a late night last night.
Good morning, Mom.
That's what Twilight Sparkle tried to say as she came down the stairs, though it came out more like... thanks to the yawn that broke in as soon as she opened her mouth. She looked around, blinking her eyes in the early morning light.
Is Sunflower up yet?
Oh, yes. She woke up a couple hours ago. She said she wanted to go for a quick trot around town first thing this morning. Earth ponies are so interesting, don't you think? Up at the crack of dawn and already raring for work.
Twilight smiled at her mother's assumption. While it was true that some Earth ponies, such as her good friend Applejack, would often be up and hard at work before the sun even cleared the horizon, she knew for a fact that others, such as Pinkie Pie, woke up only when they were darn good and ready to.
Did she already eat? And what's for... Ooh, okay.
She scooted up to the table, early morning weariness forgotten. Almost feeling like a filly again, she dug into the freshly prepared cakes. They were just as delicious as she remembered them being.
Oh no, she said she'd eat and shower when she got back from her exercise. It makes sense, I suppose. If you're going to go running around right away in the morning, you might as well shower afterwards.
Twilight mumbled a statement to her mom, who scolded her not to talk with her mouth full. Twilight swallowed her current mouthful and tried again.
She must be trying to get some training in before the Iron Pony competition next week. I should probably do some physical training as well, for the running of the leaves. I'm planning on entering again this year, you know.
Oh, yes? That's wonderful. You took it was 5th place last year?
Twilight nodded, too busy eating to reply.
That's really impressive, dear, especially in a town full of earth ponies.
The scholarly unicorn smiled and blushed slightly. It was true. Her mom was, in fact, assuming their species, and it was also true her 5th place finish was something she was fairly proud of. She was hoping to do even better this year, though her planned training had constantly been put off for just one more day, typically in order to study.
Well, I may not do as well this year. And last year I probably would have taken 7th if it weren't for Applejack and Rainbow Dash sabotaging each other the whole way.
I'm sure you'll do fine. More cakes?
Twilight considered turning the scrumptious treats down. After all, packing on pounds before a big race wasn't going to help her move up in the standings. But then again, how often these days does she get a chance to experience her mother's home cooking?
Yes, please.
Erin slowed to a trot, then to a walk, her breath puffing out in foggy clouds. It was much cooler here in Camelot than it was in Ponyville, probably due to the elevation. She shivered against the cold as the sweat ran down her sides. Running through the streets of the city was far different than running through the fields near Ponyville. For one thing, it was louder. She should really look into getting some sort of sneaker type thing if she was going to keep running on the streets early in the morning. Her hooves made a bit of a racket. Hopefully, she hadn't woken any pony up. Not that she'd been able to actually run for any great distance at a time. The city definitely loved its architectural diversity, and it was built on many layers, often with spiraling ramps or long flights of stairs connecting the layers together. Erin had spent more time climbing and descending those ramps and stairs than she had actually running. But it was a good workout. She'd been using different muscles than she typically had, and now her legs were pleasantly tired and a bit wobbly. The few early risers around town had stared at her oddly as she ran by, no doubt wondering what she was up to. Didn't seem like many ponies just ran for the sake of exercise. Though to be fair, they generally led more physically active lives than most humans she knew, and even the adults liked to play games that involved lots of running and jumping. She hadn't seen many ponies that were overweight, and that was for sure. She stopped in front of a large marble statue of a pony rearing up on her hind legs. The pony's wings were spread wide, and she had a crown on her head, just behind her large horn. The pony depicted by the statue was proportioned differently from other ponies as well. Taller, though there was no way of knowing if it were to scale, and with much longer legs and a relatively thinner frame than most ponies she'd seen. There was a definite air of majesty about this pony, with her flowing mane and tail. The look on the statue's face was one of serene wisdom and mild sadness. Aaron wondered briefly if this was an accurate representation of Celestia, or if it was Luna, or some other winged unicorn that she'd never heard of. She looked around for a plaque of some kind, but was distracted by a sound of rushing wind and a blast of air from behind her. She turned and saw an incredible sight.
Hey, Pony! Saw you running around like an idiot. Thought I'd come down and see what's up. Or were you just that excited to see a statue of Celestia that you had to run all the way to see her?
You're Griffon.
Aaron pointed with a hoof. The yellow eyes and the bird-like face rolled with contempt.
No, really? What was the first clue, genius?
Sorry, I've never seen a griffin before. Wow, you look so cool.
The Griffin grinned. How does she do that with a beak? Aaron wondered, and preened slightly.
I guess you're not so dumb after all. Name's Greta, by the way.
She held out an eagle claw. Aaron gingerly extended a hoof, which was firmly clasped and shaken.
I'm part of the envoy from the Griffin Kingdom to Equestria.
Sunflower.
Aaron warily eyed the large, wickedly sharp talons encircling her fetlock.
I'm just a tourist from Ponyville.
Oh? And what were you running around for?
Just exercise. I like running.
Wow, ponies are weird.
Yeah, I guess we are.
Aaron grinned back awkwardly. Here was another talking and sapient non-human species, even more different than ponies or cows. And she couldn't help but stare at her. The griffin was everything she thought she'd be when Aaron first read about them as they'd been described in mythology. Greta had an eagle-like head with a fiercely curved beak, large white wings, and enormous front talons in the front. I read that wrong. And enormous talons in the front talons in the front. I read that right. That's just written weird. Okay, whatever. And a golden, heavily muscled lion's body and rear legs. She looked fierce even when smiling. Seriously, Aaron thought, how does she do that with a beak? Aaron would have expected to look strange, as if it had all the parts of two animals joined together, but it didn't at all. Greta looked like a single homogeneous creature, blending seamlessly from feathers to fur. There was no awkward joining of parts, no specific part of her that she could point at the exact spot she changed from an eagle to a lion.
So, if you don't mind my asking, what's it like in the Griffin Kingdom?
Eh, more or less like here. We even have a few ponies that live in our borders. It's a lot drier, though. Less hills, except right up by the mountains. Lots of open grasslands. That's where we do most of our hunting.
Aaron nodded, and then noticed that the griffin was giving her an odd look.
What's wrong?
You're not going to freak out about us hunting? We eat meat, you know. Most ponies get all creeped up when we bring that up.
No, it doesn't bother me at all. As long as you don't eat ponies or other things that can talk, why should it matter to me? Um, you don't actually eat ponies, do you?
Ha! No, it's against the law to eat anything intelligent, so no. Griffins haven't eaten ponies for, I'd say at least a couple of 100 years. Aha! There's the look I was hoping for.
Aaron smiled weakly, hoping that Greta was just trying to get a rise out of her, but queasily suspecting that she wasn't. She tried to change the subject away from diets.
So, Griffin Embassy, huh? What do you do there?
I'm just a staffer. I take notes, file things, do busy work. Why so curious? It's a boring job.
I like learning new things, and I've never met some pony or someone who worked in an embassy.
Well, like I said, it's dull. I take notes at meetings. I do research on pony law or trade agreements, or on various financial reports. Sometimes I sit at a front desk and greet everyone who comes in, that kind of thing.
She wing shrugged, which was impressive with gigantic eagle wings.
It's really dull, but the pay is good. My tour should be up soon, just in time for me to go home and see my eggs hatch. Then it's my mate's turn to go find work for a while I raise them.
Oh, wow, you're gonna be a mother? Congratulations.
Thanks, I guess. I'm not really looking forward to it. It sounds like a gigantic pain in my tail. My own mom said it's a lot different when they hatch an imprint, but right now they're just a bunch of eggs. May as well be rocks. I never really meant to have a clutch right now. I was just having some fun with a guy I knew, and surprise, eggs. Oh well, it's only for a couple of years. I'll manage.
It only takes a couple of years for griffins to grow up?
Nah. Once they get old enough to hunt on their own, they get sent off to the academy. I guess if I haven't bonded with them by then I probably won't ever see them again. Some Griffonesses don't even bother keeping track of their own kids once that happens.
Oh,
It sounded like a really sad way to grow up, but Greta broke in to correct her misapprehension.
Don't do that. You ponies always do that when we talk about how we're raised. I had a great time growing up with all the other cubs. Heck, I feel bad for ponies. Sure, you get parents with you all the time, but we had adult Griffins around all the time, and you miss out on having dozens of brothers and sisters. My family is huge, and we all keep in touch.
oh, sorry. When you put it that way, that actually sounds pretty nice. It's just not what I'm used to, I guess.
Apology accepted. Anyway, I suppose I should get going back.
Greta spread her wings and crouched in preparation to launch, but Aaron frantically held up a hoof and shouted,
Wait!
What?
I just wanted to ask some questions about the embassy. Who runs things on the equestrian side?
You mean, who do I deal with?
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. It's the Equestrian Ministry of Diplomatic Relations. Anyway, I gotta fly. Later, Sunflower.
and with that, the Griffin sprung into the air and flapped her wings. Erin squinted her eyes against the debris that were kicked up and watched her fly away into the early morning sky. She smiled as a feeling of wonder welled up within her. A griffin? An actual griffin? She always loved mythology, especially the Greek myths, and to have had an actual conversation with a griffin was the coolest thing that could have happened to her well, since she'd arrived in Canterlot, really. So basically, since this morning. The cool things just kept happening, that was for sure. And now she had a lead on where to look for answers on who human representatives would have to talk to in order to establish relations. All she had to do was find out who ran the Equestrian Ministry for Diplomatic Relations and see what the protocol was for establishing relations. It'd been a really lucky encounter. Aaron's eyes narrowed in thought. Maybe it was just a bit too lucky. What are the odds that she'd be out for a morning run, barely any pony around, and she'd run into someone who'd happily give her not only some information she needed, but also a fair amount of detail into Griffin culture? She thought about that as she began walking back to Twilight's parents' house. Since she'd arrived, she'd had a series of extremely fortunate encounters. She'd met Applejack literally within an hour of stepping into Equestria, and she'd provide her with information she needed to establish herself in Ponyville. She met Rainbow Dash minutes after that, which gave her insight on what Pegasi were like, and who also suggested where she could look for work. The more she thought about it, her experience in Equestria so far had been either extremely lucky or some magical force was guiding her steps. A month ago, she would have laughed at the thought, but now it seemed eerily plausible, which made her shiver in apprehension. She didn't believe it. Not quite, but still, after all she'd seen. Of course, if it were just luck, then she was probably due for some unfortunate to happen to her soon. That was not a pleasant prospect either. With that thought, she looked up and realized she had absolutely no idea where she was. Chuckling wryly, she began retracing her steps, hoping to find some familiar landmarks. There was a knock at the front door. Twilight put down her father's copy of the Canterlot Times and went to open it, revealing a very relieved and frazzled-looking Sunflower.
Twilight! Oh, thank goodness, I got so lost. The city is crazy.
Well, maybe to you, but I was born here. It makes perfect sense to me.
Twilight didn't do shit. Sunflower wiped her hooves on the doormat and stepped inside.
Scary to think that the convoluted street plans of this needlessly complex city could actually seem normal to some. That's amazing.
Twilight laughed and shut the door as the mayor walked into the living room.
Well, you've mostly missed breakfast, I'm afraid. My mom made oat cakes. There's still some batter left, though. I can make some up if you want. Though, maybe you should shower.
Huh?
Well, not to be rude, Sunflower, but you kind of stink. Just a little.
The Earth Pony Mare blushed a deep red and immediately excused herself to visit the washroom. Twilight shook her head in amusement and then went to heat up the griddle. She had a respectable pile of cakes completed and stacked on the plate by the time Sunflower came out, mane and tail comb but still slightly damp from the shower.
Help yourself. There's butter on the table, and I just warmed up the syrup for you.
Wow, these smell incredible. Thanks, Twilight.
Twilight watched with mild amusement as the Earth Pony fumbled with trying to pick up a fork, which she eventually did by pinning it between her front hooves. Then she noticed Twilight looking at her and blushed self-consciously. Twilight smiled, then stepped back into the other room, levitating her paper back up to read it. That was something she'd noticed the previous day at the restaurant. Sunflower was very awkward when it came to eating with utensils, more so than any Earth Pony she'd ever seen who wasn't still a foal. Just another in a long line of mysteries about the mare. She glanced over the top of the paper at her guest and heard something feeding back, and saw that Sunflower was eating slowly and clumsily, but managed not to make a mess. Twilight sighed and tried to return to her paper, but she was finding it hard to focus. After rereading the same paragraph for the third time, she grunted with exasperation and put the paper down, opting to stare out a nearby window instead. Sunflower had asked her to ignore her condition, but it was a difficult thing to do, and Twilight was determined to make the effort. Still, it nagged at her incessantly. How did it happen? What exactly had happened? Why would Sunflower not want a cure? Why didn't she take every opportunity to fix it? And even more so, what was she hiding? Any questions about her life before Ponyville were answered either vaguely or not at all. Trusting your friends and respecting their boundaries was one thing, but this was bordering on ridiculous.
Sunflower?
The green-eyed mare looked up at her with a mouthful of oatcake.
I want you to know. I want to be your friend. And I respect that there are things about your past that you don't want to talk about. Things you want to keep secret.
Sunflower looked guilty at this point, which was another thing that Twilight had noticed. Whenever her past was brought up, she looked guilty, like she was hiding something. She watched as the Earth Pony quickly swallowed her mouthful of cake in an apparent effort to reply. Twilight held up her hoof to forestall her.
I want to let you know that it's okay. Really. Friends have to respect a friend's boundaries. And I understand.
She caught the relieved look on the mare's face and continued.
But friends also trust one another with their secrets. You don't have to tell me everything. You don't have to tell me anything right now. But I hope one day you'll trust me enough to share some of your past with me.
Sunflower was staring at her plate. With some alarm, Twilight noticed that the mare seemed near tears.
Wait, I didn't mean. Sunflower, don't be upset, okay? I wanted to let you know. You can trust me. I won't judge you and I won't think any differently of you. I promise.
Don't.
What?
Don't promise that.
Sunflower drew in a deep, shuddering breath, still staring at her plate. She continued.
I promise, Twilight. I'll tell you everything eventually. Not now, because I just can't, but I will.
Then she muttered something under her breath that Twilight thought might have been.
Shh.
There was a long pause. Twilight noticed that the atmosphere in the dining room had become beyond uncomfortable.
Okay, well, good talk, I guess.
She started edging away from the melancholy mare at the breakfast table.
I'm just going to go, um, up to my own room for a bit, okay? Then we could go shopping if you want. You said you wanted to do some shopping today?
Sunflower nodded, still downcast.
I'll take you to some good stores I know, okay? And in a little while, my mom should be back with Spike, and we can hit up Donut Joe's for some donuts. I kind of promised him they're his favorites. I used to go there all the time when I was studying at Celestia's School for Gifted Unicorns, and I got to be on a first name basis with Donut Joe, the pony who owns the place. He makes the best donuts, and I just realized I'm babbling, so I'll head upstairs now, okay? Okay.
And with that, Twilight fled from the awkward situation to the relative safety of her old bedroom. The diminutive unicorn's hoofsteps rattled up the stairs, then a door opened and closed. Erin stared at the oatcakes in front of her. They were delicious, and Double R's microphone kept feeding back. But her appetite was totally gone. The one she'd already eaten just sat like lead in her gut, and there was the burning sensation of unshed tears behind her eyelids. She fought with herself even now. She so desperately wanted to tell Twilight what was going on that it burned in her. For the most part, she was able to put those thoughts out of her head, but after being confronted with that, they were front and center. She was miserably depressed, but also angry, Angry at Dr. Velchek for forbidding her to talk. Angry at humanity for needing to come here, and the Black Tide for making it so necessary. But mostly, she was angry with herself for making friends just to lie to them and to string them along without ever really returning their friendship. Twilight was right. Friends trust each other and friends share. She wasn't sharing, so how could she consider herself to be a friend to them? What kind of person makes a friend for the sole purpose of getting information out of them? She should have avoided making friends in the first place. It was better to be lonely than to face this kind of guilt. If there was no pony close to her, then there would be no pony to deceive. The oatcakes were cooling on the table in front of her. With a sigh, she laboriously picked up her fork once again and began eating. She had no appetite, but she wasn't going to be rude and leave the food half-eaten on the table. Things weren't going to get better by acting all depressed and mopey after all. She still had a mission to finish. It was time, she decided, for her to stop being so angsty and just deal with the situation as it was. When Twilight came back down, she'd pretend like nothing happened. They'd go shopping, they'd get donuts with Spike, and they'd have a great time. She shoveled a forkful of oatcake in her mouth. She didn't even taste it. The room was decorated with white and purple checkerboard floors and grayish-blue walls. The drawings taped up on the walls were childish and mildly embarrassing. Various stuffed animals, dolls, and toys decorated the shelves, keeping the large collection of children's books company. The magenta curtain canopy bed itself had more pillows on it than any sane pony would ever require, even with a few more stuffed animals sprinkled in. I remember it being bigger, Twilight thought with a sigh. She'd been flipping idly through some of her old books for about half an hour now, skimming through and looking at the pictures, which had a side effect of triggering wave after wave of nostalgia. Sighing, she put her book down, which had a story involving a young colt trying to bake a suit of clothes out of bread for no adequately explained reason. She was just about to pull out another when she heard the front door open and her mother's call asking if any pony was home. Bracing herself and hoping that Sunflower had recovered from her earlier upset, Twilight stepped down the stairs and greeted her mother. The older mare had several large shopping bags levitating in the air around her. She was also amused to see Spike perched on her mom's back, which, like he so often was with her own.
Did you have a good time, Spike?
She asked as the purple dragon hopped down.
Oh, yeah. After we got the groceries, we went to the park and she bought me ice cream. We had a lot of fun.
And he was a perfect little gentleman, so helpful.
Her mother patted Spike on the head. The little dragon beamed at the praise.
I'm just going to go put these bags in the kitchen.
The older mare trotted away, and Twilight heard her greet Sunflower, who replied back with what sounded like good cheer. The lavender unicorn sighed with relief, glad her guest was in a better mood now. Hopefully she could avoid spoiling it again. Then she heard her mother's voice say,
What are you doing? No, you don't need to do that. Put that dish down. You're a guest. You don't have to clean up. Put the dishes down and back away from the sink, missy.
Twilight grinned as she heard her mother's falsely stern voice coming from the kitchen, scolding, but in a joking manner. Her mother chased Sunflower out of the kitchen.
Now you go keep Twilight company and make sure she stays out of trouble today. I don't want to find out she's been playing in the fountains again.
That was ages ago. I was 2.
Spike giggled and Sunflower grinned sheepishly. There was another awkward moment as both she and Sunflower stared at their hooves for a while. Spike looked back and forth between the two of them, picking up on the uncomfortable atmosphere.
So, how about that weather? Read any good books lately? What do you think the Trottingham Titans' chances are winning this year at Football Cup?
Slightly annoyed, Twilight frowned at him.
What are you talking about, Spike?
Just making small talk. I figured it was better than sitting around in an uncomfortable silence.
Twilight was about to scold her assistant when she heard a chuckle from Sunflower. She looked up to see the Earth Pony smiling at the little dragon, a smile she soon shared. I'm to buy the little guy an extra donut, she thought. Out loud, she said,
Well, maybe we should get to shopping. We only have half a day left before we have to catch the train back to Ponyville. That is, if you want to make it to back by a decent hour.
Yeah, you're right. Spike, are you gonna come with us?
Nah, I've done enough shopping today. Besides, your mom said she was going to bake cookies and that I could help.
I thought you wanted donuts.
I do, but I also want cookies too.
Twilight frowned at her assistant while Sunflower laughed.
All right, but if you're going to have donuts as well, then you only get one cookie.
Oh,
No, you'll make yourself sick with too many treats. Remember the ice cream incident?
but
One cookie or no cookie, Spike. Which is it?
one guy guess. Sheesh. Twilight, way to take the fun out of the day.
You're just a baby dragon, Spike. You need proper nutrition.
He's just a baby?
Sunflower blurted, eyes wide as she pointed a hoof at Spike.
Well, duh. Did you think I was all grown up? Grown up dragons are huge, bigger than a house, even.
Wow, I did not know that.
Sure is a lot you don't know.
Spike!
Twilight scolded, but relented as Sunflower apparently found that funny. At least the mayor was laughing, though it sounded a touch self-deprecating.
You're right, Spike. There sure is.
There was another pause, though this one was less awkward.
Well, should we get going?
Sure, I'll go get my saddlebags.
She trotted off to the guest room, and Twilight accompanied Spike into the kitchen, where her mother was just finishing up washing the dishes. Horn glowing, Twilight helped to dry them, finding pleasure in helping her mother do a chore that, when she was younger, she hated doing. Sunflower came back out of the guest room with her saddlebags on, wearing her straw hat, but not her dress. Horn glowing, Twilight opened the door, and both mares stepped out into the bright Canterlot morning. The initial awkwardness had passed quickly, and Erin soon found herself honestly enjoying the experience of a more casual day spent in Canterlot with Twilight Sparkle. Last night had been informative, but a little hectic. They had adhered closely to Twilight's schedule, rushing through the various items on the list in order to stay on track. Today was just a day for wandering and poking their noses in various neat little shops. So far, she had bought very little, mainly because they spent a good hour or so just in one bookshop. Erin had to practically drag Twilight out of there, and the librarian had purchased so many books that they had to drop them back off at her parents' house just to avoid being overloaded. Then they simply wandered and browsed. Erin bought a small emerald green hair clip that she thought would look good with Marigold's main color, and another red one that would look nice with her mother's. However, a rapidly dwindling supply of bits made her finally summon the nerve to ask Twilight a potentially risky question.
Twilight, this may sound stupid, but are gold coins worth anything here?
The unicorn blinked, looking confused for a moment.
Gold coins? Like actual gold money coins? Nobody has used those for ages. We went on the bit standard in, I think in 745 AF. The bits we spend now only have a trace amount of gold in them, and the crown purchased back most of the gold coins over the years.
Oh, well, I have a bag of. They were given to me when I left home. I guess they didn't know that. Couldn't spend them.
Wow, really? How strange. I didn't know there were any villages still using gold coins.
Not using, really. We just had some lying around. It was a gift when I left, but no pony here or in Ponyville has been using them, so I felt weird about having them, so. Are they useless then?
I wouldn't say useless, but you can't use them to directly buy things, no. Did you want to sell them?
Erin nodded, and Twilight started walking.
Come on, we can take them to a jeweler and get them appraised. Maybe we can get some bits for you to spend.
Erin grinned happily and trotted off after her friend. Then she hesitated. Not friend. She had no right to call Twilight a friend. Her good mood slipped a little, but she pushed the grin back on her muzzle and trotted off after the small purple unicorn. Shortly after that, they stopped in a jeweler's store and walked up to the pale blue unicorn stallion behind the counter, who stared down his nose at the both of them. Erin dug her bag of gold coins out, and the shopkeeper's jaw nearly hit the counter as he levitated first one, then another in front of his disbelieving eyes. Once he overcame his shock, he spoke.
Well, the coins are pure gold. But of course, there's a fee for transferring them to bits. I could give you, let's say 3 bits per coin.
I don't think so. The legal exchange rate is more like 20 per similarly sized coin, and these are larger besides.
Ah, but one has to take into account the fees and taxes involved. I imagine I can go as high as 4 in that case.
No deal. The taxes only apply in regard to your profits, and there are no fees for transferring gold to bits. 19.
19? My dear Philly, you wound me. And yet I feel I can manage to find compassion enough in my wounded heart to raise my offer to 5 per coin.
5?
Twilight seemed offended, and then the haggling began in earnest. Aaron watched the two argued fiercely, with the stallion bringing up the woes of a poor shopkeeper, and Twilight mentioning how cruel he was to try and steal from a poor filly from Ponyville who barely made a bit to her name. Offer after offer was rejected, and the discussion gained in intensity, till finally a price was reached 11 bits per coin. Erin was ecstatic with the amount of wealth coming towards her and very glad she'd brought Twilight with her. The small unicorn was a fierce bargainer, and Erin doubted she'd have been able to do anywhere near as well. The blue unicorn counted out 10 bars, which were apparently worth 100 bits each, plus 100 bits for smaller purchases. Erin's coin purse was now pleasantly heavy in her saddlebag. As they turned to leave, the stallion behind the counter called out after them.
It was nice seeing you again, Miss Sparkle. Don't take so long between visits next time.
It was nice seeing you too, Professor Nimbus. Life as a shopkeeper suits you.
Not quite the hustle and bustle of university life, certainly. I'm actually able to sleep at night.
Twilight laughed and waved. She led a very confused Aaron out of the shop.
Wait, you know him?
Oh yes, he was my economics teacher back at Celestia School. We didn't just learn magic, you know.
But what was all that about?
Oh, just a little bit of fun. I came here because I knew he'd give us a fair deal, but he'd want to argue about it first. Anyway, you've got a bag full of bars and bits. Let's keep shopping.
It was just too ridiculous. As Aaron trod next to Twilight, she couldn't help but laugh. It was starting to get late. Sunflower had filled up her saddlebags ages ago and now had many of her purchases slung and strapped across her back. Twilight envied the Earth Pony's endurance. She would have collapsed hours ago. Of course, she would have probably just used her magic to carry everything. Most of Sunflower's purchases were in the form of gifts for other ponies, apparently. Twilight helped to advise her on purchases, but for some of her friends, including an apple brooch for Applejack and a super deluxe Wonderbolts gift pack for Rainbow Dash, they stopped in a party supply store for Pinkie Pie. There was also one store, a curio store, where Sunflower had asked for her to remain outside. Obviously, that's where she was planning on buying gifts for her. She pretended she didn't know, and Sunflower pretended that she didn't know that she knew. They stopped back at her parents' house, collecting Twilight's earlier book purchases and an excited Spike. After a quick pit stop at the local FedEx in order to have their purchases shipped to Ponyville, they turned their hooves in the direction of the fabled Donut Joe's Donut Shop. Twilight kept up a chattering monologue the whole way, talking about the great time he'd had at the house and the terrific new cookie recipes he'd learned. Twilight rolled her eyes, suspecting that the young dragon's hyperactivity could be explained, at least in part, by the violation of the one cookie rule. Still, she was in a pretty good mood, and so she decided not to pursue the subject. Twilight cracked the door open to the store, and the delicious smell of freshly made donuts wafted out. Joe was behind the counter as usual and greeted them warmly as they arrived. It was the typical rush, which was according to Twilight's plan. She disliked coming during the busy hours, as the shop would be packed with peckish ponies. They purchased a box of assorted donuts, which Sunflower proclaimed as delicious, eating 3 of them in short order. Which amused Twilight and horrified Spike, who quickly grabbed more donuts for himself from the rapidly dwindling assortment. Small talk commenced, which mostly consisted of Sunflower asking Twilight about her life in Canterlot so far. However, the Earth Pony Mirror had hesitantly raised one subject.
I ran into a Griffon named Greta today. It was during my morning run. She said she was with the Griffon embassy?
Oh, that's interesting. Did she mention anything about what the job was like?
Mostly boring, according to her, but it did make me wonder. How do those get started?
Embassies?
Sunflower nodded and Twilight considered a moment before replying.
Well, I know it's the Ministry of Diplomatic Relations that runs all the embassies. I forget who the head counselor is. Oh, wait, no, I remember. It was in my father's papers this morning. High Counselor Rosie Oates. I guess she runs the whole thing.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder how a new nation would get an embassy set up.
Well, if I remember my civics lessons correctly, they just sent an ambassador to the ministry building in High Canterlot, near the palace.
No real reason. Idle curiosity. I'm gonna have another donut.
Spike moaned in dismay as she did so. Twilight laughed at the little dragon's reaction, and to mollify him, she bought another box of donuts just to take home.
But you don't get to eat any until tomorrow. No, Spike, I mean it. You filled up on nothing but sweets so far today. And that's okay since it's a special occasion, but you're done for.
Sunflower also purchased a box of donuts apparently to share at the guest house the next day. Twilight wondered if, now that she had a decent amount of bits on her, she'd be looking for her own place to live now. Surely she didn't want to stay in the guest house forever. Celestia's son had been down for a while and Twilight said it was time to go. Sunflower slid the box of donuts carefully into her saddlebags and Twilight levitated hers. They arrived at the train station with plenty of time to spare, which Spike didn't seem as pleased with as she was.
It's cold out, Twilight.
It's not that cold. Don't be such a baby.
How come whenever I want to do anything, you don't want me to? I'm just a baby, but whenever I act like a baby, you tell me not to?
Well,
Twilight didn't really have a response for that.
Here, Spike.
Sunflower provided a welcome distraction, pulling a green scarf out of her saddlebag. Spike gratefully wrapped it around his neck and head.
Thanks, Sunflower.
The mare gave him a hoof noogie.
No problem, Spike. That was going to be a present for somebody else, but it suits you, so you can keep it if you'd like.
Thanks.
He hugged around the leg.
Wait, does this mean I get one less present now?
Spike!
Twilight scolded, but Sunflower just laughed.
Don't worry about it, kiddo. I've probably bought Marigold too many gifts as it is. I'm sure she won't mind giving up that scarf to a poor, cold baby dragon.
Awesome.
Spike snuggled into his scarf. Shortly after that, the train arrived. The ponies and Baby Dragon all climbed aboard and made themselves comfortable. A short while later, the train left the depot with a lurch, and they left Canterlot behind. Erin yawned hugely as she fumbled with the front door to the guest house. It was close to midnight. She was asleep on her hooves. Making her way inside, she crept across the floor quietly, not wanting to cause a disturbance for any ponies in the house who were trying to sleep. She made her way into her room, divested herself of her hat and saddlebags, and promptly collapsed on the bed.
Dear Dr. Velch. Oh, sorry, eventful day today. Too tired to go into details. Saw Griffon. She was awesome. Found out procedures for establishing an embassy in Canterlot. Reviewed today's recording for the information, but the summary is as follows. Visit a question Ministry of Diplomatic Relations in High Canterlot. Ask to see a pony named High Counselor Rosie Oates. Also, gold is valuable here. May be able to use it as a commodity for trade. Probably other stuff I should mention, but I'm so tired. And this is Sunflower. Good night.
She was asleep less than a minute later. And that's when the bodies were found.
Do-do-do. Do-do-do.
This has been Project Sunflower Section 8. I stopped keeping track of chapters. That's Double R's problem.
You're right, it was 8.
Let the sky fall.
We're reading 8, but we're probably like done at least 3 double chapters.
It looks like next chapter will be a single chapter, and then we'll get back to double chapters for
Yeah, so this was just chapter 14.
chapter 14 out of
31.
31.
Oh, we're almost halfway through. So yeah, this was chapter 13, The Weeping Somnambulist.
Perfect. Now what do we do?
Hey, Dex,
Cocaine!
wanna make out?
This will just call it a
With
night.
cocaine.
Play
Guys,
Jeopardy.
Look, I already told you we don't have any cocaine here.
Oh no, what is that?
Find some
What is
blow.
that? Oh my god, he's back with the beating stick! Get out of here, you fucking wizard!
We got
Is-
cocaine back at the embassy. How else do we think we keep ourselves entertained?
Did someone say cocaine?
You know, I like these Griffins more and more every day.
No, Grandpa Dats, no more coke.
Grandpa Dats is not currently in the call.
Oh no! Ah!
Or he doesn't realize he has his microphone muted in his old age, the senility slowly sleeping in.
What do we do? Panic?
No, I pour myself another glass of whiskey.
Now the question is, who's going to lead the panic? There's always a leader.
My goldfish is usually the leader.
Yeah.
I don't like it when he leads. I can barely hear him when he starts.
What? It looks at you very angrily and goes, "Bug."
Well, I'm sorry, but you're not much of a screamer.
And then it yells, "Skoog."
See? Look, look, your goldfish is very talented, does a lot of unusual things, but leading a panic is not one of its strong points, as few as they may be.
Well, maybe if he led the panic at a disco, it might be better.
That's a different kind of panic.
Hey guys,
I expected something from Lycan.
Why did I agree to a 10 o'clock convention meeting?
No idea.
I don't know why you would either.
It's all Senshi's fault.
But I went to a seafood disco once. Unfortunately, I pulled a muscle.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that time my goldfish broke its ankle while I was standing in line.
What was it standing in line for?
Tax returns.
Why?
I have no
Did it
idea.
buy out the IRS?
Only 3 or 4 times now.
Okay.
Oh, that's why he was dealing with the IRS. Nobody messes with them.
Can we
I mess with them.
also buy out the DMV?
No, but it's willing to buy the DMZ. Piss those North Koreans right off. Hey there, Kimmy.
Oh my god, he killed Kenny.
Kimmy.
You bastard.
Oh my god.
Is it really only
my
9:34?
authority.
Jesus Christ, we burned through that quick.
Swag.
Yeah, wow,
Yeah.
this was
Yeah,
a
it was
quick
less-
chapter.
Less than an
Yeah.
hour.
That's why I'm sitting here wondering like what to do now, because I'm just like,
Well, here's the thing. We could have done these separately, or I could have combined this 7,000 word chapter with last week's 7,000 word chapter and break our record by doing 14,000 words.
Yeah.
I guess Winchester's not used to a quickie.
I thought that would have
Oh.
killed Larsis if we did that.
No, I read more than that in a day.
Yeah, Winchester's more like a one pump and done kind of guy.
Yeah,
how
but
would
then
you
we
know?
would've
You
broken-
told me yourself you don't like bears.
I know. I know. That's the first part. That's the first thing that's wrong with you.
Why? I'm too
There are
furry
many,
for you?
many things wrong with Winchester.
I know.
There's many things wrong with this entire group. What are you talking about?
Well,
Like
yeah.
the fact that I disappeared and now I'm back.
Thank God.
Yay.
Well, well, no thanks.
Well,
to
the
you.
fact that Winchester Wednesday is on a Thursday. For me.
Well, get
Oh,
out
yeah.
of Australia.
Getting the right time zone.
American time is world time. Get with the program.
Which
Just like your
American
World
time is the
Series?
most American time?
Eastern.
Central.
Eastern.
Central.
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 You're outnumbered, Dads.
The most
Hawaii
American
illusion.
time is American time. They call it military time. Get with the projects.
But which military time? There's like 5 of them in the United States.
Eastern.
Central. My goldfish
Central.
needs you to. My goldfish needs you to oversee the setting up of an emergency overhaul again.
Say what?
I said my
I
goldfish
just saw
needs you to
Dad for his name.
Yeah, I know. Deathsmore's now EAT. Yeah, Deathsmore. My goldfish needs you to oversee the emergency setup of an emergency spill overhaul again.
Okay. You've
This
got 2
time-
emergencies in there, so I'm all for it.
Awesome. First of all, we're getting a small crew. Does 400 people seem like enough?
I mean, I might have to like appoint at least one. I can bring my own like assistant,
God
right?
damn it, Dads more. I just.
From what I recall, you're part of a council.
I am. I'll bring the whole thing.
Oh God, I'm gonna try to make it over there for part of that at least because yeah, apparently I got to oversee a. God damn it, Skyrays! I just saw your name. So here's the question. So here's the question: are you saying that good con healthcare or self-care rather is good to have, or are you talking about the website?
Yes.
Awesome. I like that answer.
You stole the answer right from my mouth. Silence. Can I join?
There we go.
Like you're in Australia. That's basically the European United States, so you're welcome to join.
Provided you're acknowledging the best time.
He's from Redneck Britain.
Redneck Britain. There we go.
Yeah.
America.
Y'all live in a land where everything wants to kill you.
God damn it, Lycan.
Uggs, Uggs, Uggs.
Shit.
But
Hey,
Nothing's more American than chop suey.
hey, that's where the problem with is that FCUK
Why
is one of
not?
my favorite brands.
Yeah. Actually, chop suey was invented in Brooklyn, I believe.
Sort of like egg foo young is the most Chinese thing to ever come out of San Francisco.
Or French fries are definitely the most French cuisine you can get.
Mm-hmm. Or French toast for that matter.
I have a whole butter shelf in my fridge. That's my French cuisine.
But I
Oh, you
thought
have a butter shelf
hamburgers were
too?
American.
Yes.
Nice.
Fun fact, we call it Salisbury steak because we changed the name from hamburger during World War One.
Yeah, isn't it strange
Really?
that hamburgers don't have ham in them?
That
Well, it
depends on where they grind the meat.
It depends on how much bacon you put in the burger.
That too.
Which
it
that
weird
is
that-
what I will be making for New Year's if anyone should attend.
But that's the problem. Is I have a New Year's party here. I have to oversee AV for.
I mean, there's multiple days. You could just pop by for a day. I will make the
That-
burgers specially for you.
That is actually the plan.
Oh, sick ass. That's
I mean,
good.
that's why my car's in the shop right now is because they agreed to replace my taillight basically for free. I parked
That's
it somewhere
amazing
on
that
my
they could
birthday.
find one in the United States.
I parked it somewhere on my birthday, and someone backed into it and knocked out part of the driver's side taillight.
So, where did you bury the body?
We don't worry about such things.
Fair enough.
Oh dear. This is divulging.
No, shit posting.
What did you
is
just?
a national pastime.
Sky, that last one's more like derby board time.
Oh god.
I didn't post that last one. What are you talking about? That wasn't me.
Okay, there's that one.
Injured? Good. It was me.
I've seen that. It's great.
This chat's just devolved so fast.
I think we need to wrap it all up here.
Well, those prongs definitely are.
What burritos? And that's a wrap.
Oh,
Hey, that's where I need you
God.
to pop over to Liquor Tetris and grab something.
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, whatever you find in Liquor Tetris.
Oh, good lord.
What?
All of aisle 2 and 3, probably.
No,
What?
there's
So when
literally a
you
place
finally
down there
complete
that
a road,
says,
it all disappears.
yeah, there's actually that part right at the bottom there that actually says in the middle, Liquor Tetris. Just so you know, that's actually Tops Liquors. Whenever I talk about getting craft beer and stuff from Tops, that's the layout of the store.
Yeah, it reminds me of every time I come down to Texas and we got to go visit, was it Specs or whatever?
Beer that doesn't sell.
That's where I keep finding my really good Scotch ales, though.
Scotch ales or Scotch eggs?
Scotch ales. Scotch eggs I get from Cornish Pasty. Cornish Pasty.
I got to have Scotch eggs for the first time at MSP.
Remember, the name of the place is Cornish Pasty, not Cornish Pasty. Pasties are something else.
What about corner pasta? Oh, the horror.
No.
Alcoholic beverages. It would have been better if they would have put the cold beer on the other side of the employees only line. Only the employees get cold beer.
I love there's just a corner for tequila.
Yeah. No. They have like 120 different types of tequila there. It's amazing.
And it looks like there's like a little chip station or something there too.
Yeah, there is.
Chips.
The other thing you can't see is behind the counter there is where they have all the little sizes.
Wizard potions.
Bitters.
That's all
How
available.
loose is your
Vermouth. Prime real estate end caps.
Yep.
I like how there's a section for just weird liquors. It's not even like named.
Mezcal Mountain. Wait, it's mezcal. I've never heard of mezcal before. What's that?
Mesoamerica, California. Why do you ask?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hard on A.
You're all overlooking the best items. Sale. Sales.
Sales. I see that now.
It's probably.
I'm over here trying to understand Liquor Tetris and more boxes.
If you ever go to that store, you will look at it and understand this map.
By Liquor Tetris, I mean it's weird. I think it's weird shaped bottles, and they just shift the shelves around so that everything fits.
Liquor Tetris is liquor that didn't sell that they had boxes of, so they just stacked it there.
Yes.
That's where you got to buy the good shit.
How you know it's good? It glows in the dark and fucks you up after a shot. What's the alcohol content? Oh, you don't need a match to lay it on fire.
That's the good shit. You're talking to somebody who goes to convenience stores and like a Rite Aid, and I search for the cheapest, the absolute bottom shelf, $1.25, like Merlots and just any red wine. That's my liquor of choice.
Little Japan, Little
It
Italy.
is terrible. Mixing drywall with grape juice would be better than this stuff.
Is that why you're high on this shit whenever you tell me to play Holding Out for a Hero at cons?
Pretty much. I
Hmm.
mean, cons, I do vodka because one flask will do me, but
Oh, hey, they sell wizard potions.
Walgreens. That takes a couple bottles.
You just noticed that?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Wizard potions.
Oh.
I'm more interested in understanding how loose the vermouth really is.
That last post, that's me. Freak.
Yeah.
All
Same.
you guys are ordering the shit to get you plastered, but I'm here because I want to taste my shit.
I like shit that I can taste and get plastered.
If you're eating your shit, you should probably just go right for tequila.
Yeah.
Dusty beer.
Not just any tequila, the cheap shit. You need to get yourself some Cuervo.
So no Patron?
No.
No
Also, what pissed me off is whenever I went to Minneapolis, I was going to make traditional margaritas. So I said, I'll get some Espolón. It's the cheap shit. I'm used to it around here. It's $16 a bottle and imported by some guy who works in San Luis. I went up to Minnesota and it was $41 a bottle. So it's just like, why would I pay that for Espolón when there's Avión next to it for $1 more?
It only makes sense.
Huh.
It doesn't make sense. It makes dollars.
42 of them, in fact.
I love the thing that's underneath. That's just like douche versus beer, and all that you can see is antique and Pappy Van Winkle shoved up my ass.
Firestone Walker 19th anniversary so far up my ass it came out of my mouth.
Rickety wooden juice shelf.
Weird pepper grinder.
I just want to point out that is an apt description of that thing.
I mean, I don't doubt any single description of anything on here.
You got to sort of turn sideways to get to it. And one time I had to put my hand down, and the whole thing started moving.
What the rickety wooden juice shelf?
Yes.
Somewhat cold sodas.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's most impressive is how like everything
fucking cans.
And then for the tequila one, it actually spills out onto the floor. Like everything's in the shelf and
No.
tequila.
I need to go up there and take a picture of that area. It's from the floor to the top of the shelf, and they are actually on the floor.
Ah. So
They
one
can't-
tequila, two tequila, three tequila floor.
What they aren't showing you is next to the ice machine there's a little wooden shelf, and that's where they put their expensive rare beers. Like, have you ever wanted to have a limited edition? They only made about 20,000 of them for the world Lost Abbey beer. They have it there, and they want $38 for the bottle. And we're not talking a 40 ounce. We're talking about the size of Bud Light.
Oh, so a bottle of water.
If water was, actually, I would say if water was about 18%, but the problem is we have White Claw.
Yes.
White Claw, yes.
Winchester, is it time for shout-outs yet? Because I think it is at this point.
Oh my god, you haven't done shout-outs yet?
No, we
haven't. For how long? And you haven't done shout-outs yet? We've been talking about a
Fine.
store, and you haven't done shout-outs yet.
Fine, I'll start off. Shout-outs tonight are to the dense pile of wine cases, Liquor Tetris, and the prime real estate end caps, home of where you can find the really good stuff from Firestone Walker that you can't find anywhere. Also to rum barrel aged pumpkin.
Speaking of shout outs, shout out to people that don't know what the opposite of in is.
No.
Oh, they have a whole section of meads. Nice. Anyway.
I think tonight's collective shout-outs is the Tops Liquor on University here in Tempe, Arizona.
Hi, I'm Dadsmore. I'm going to give a couple of shout-outs here. We're going to give a shout-out to a few number items that I've seen on this list. Sale number 1, sale number 2, sale number 3, sale number 4, sale number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, fuck 13.
Wait. I thought you said
15,
Power
16,
1 and 2 is all we worried about.
I would, but these are just such good sales. You don't understand how good these sales are, and I gotta tell you,
they're great. So, which sale do you prefer? The one in Little New Zealand, Little Australia, Little Chile, Little Argentina, or Little Germany?
Little Germany. I really feel that sale is really going to take over the rest of the store. The one in Australia is just going to sit back and be cunt, but fucking the Germany one is just going to just really push forward and really show itself in the final quarter.
I don't know. If you keep talking like that, it might take over Little Poland across the aisle there.
I'm fine with that. I'm my people have lived with this, that as soon as somebody German walks into a room, we just surrender.
Well, there's Little France there too, so.
I'm not expecting great things.
Well, as long as Little Japan stays away from Little America.
Well, it's next to Little Italy and both red and white, according to this. Wait. We've got Argentina, Germany, Japan, and Italy all in one place. Okay, Top Slicker.
Top Slicker don't care.
Eat Arby's.
Eat Arby's.
God.
Hey, who's next?
You.
Shout out to all the fuckers out there who doesn't know jack shit what any of these people are talking about. Who don't know anything about liquor stores because they haven't been in one in like fucking 5 months. I don't know, because shit. I don't know. All the people out here just left here confused and alone. I am here for you. I just sit here and I just wait for them to be done. Just like you guys.
Double R, don't think, drink.
Oops.
Did
Anyways.
you just break a string?
No. Alrighty. And next on to Lycan, because I don't think he went yet.
Well, shout out to liquor, because even though it might not solve all your problems, it's worth a shot.
Alrighty, and goodbye to Lycan. And
I would like to give a shout out to whoever kills Lycan for making all these puns.
That's going to be Hennett.
Oh yeah, it's totally be Hannah.
anyways,
that game.
Next on to... I've got another one here. That I was gonna say next on to Sky Rays, but
Y'all over here with your guns. I'm over here with my knife. How am I supposed to fucking fight?
Yeah,
wait, which one? Do you want this one or this one or this one?
Simple.
I
like
didn't
an
have
anime
a gun.
character.
Don't
I
they
didn't
have
have
like
a
mass
gun, I just got an
stabbings in
attack
Europe and
kangaroo.
Australia?
Oh yeah, that's right. You're from Australia.
Yeah, I got an
No,
attack kangaroo.
he's just going to send an emu after us is what's going to happen.
You're like Americans that are oppressed by the British. I'm sorry.
Hey,
for
we
you
lost
guys.
2 wars to emus, so they must be effective.
The emus may have won the war, but I'm not seeing a little emu on this map.
So Sky Rays, shout out.
Shout outs to Lycan, East American Time, the Lord of Time himself, and Larsis Demedici for joining us today in stream. And I didn't know we had Fluttershy here. What happened? Did you what's wrong with your throat there, buddy?
I said, go fuck yourself.
Shit.
Fuck me hard.
Motherfucker.
And that's how Equestria was made.
See ya.
To shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker.
CMC.
Oh, and shout outs to Winchester for killing my eardrums.
CMC, go.
Shout outs to Fires, Explosions, LOE, Roan, Venison Jerky, and a bony pattern adjustable stop hollow auger.
And what about the lurker here in the chat? Does that person want to do shout outs?
Shout outs to command something. Shout outs.
Shout-outs to- yeah, no one's gonna help you when Circuit kills you.
Yay.
The best part of that was you got into it and it started just cutting out every other word, so it sounded like the universe was trying to keep you from shouting it out.
Yeah.
Lars, I need that. Actually, I have a nice
That
spot
is-
for it right here.
I am legitimately saving that right now, and I'm going to print it out.
Please. I will buy 20.
I will sell them at Winnie City.
Don't even bother selling them.
I'll just take it for free.
Anyway, alrighty. I think we've gotten through everyone. So,
Yes.
I can only went
You know
a
what?
15-minute.
you know what?
Journey about-
Fuck it. I know what song I'm going to play. So
Is it the one from the South Park movie I was singing a minute ago?
I don't think so. So, anyways, thank you to everyone for showing up. It's been fun. Yeah.
Fun?
I had fun once. I hated it.
Alrighty.
Listen, Betty, you need to get your Virginia Slims and just have fun. Go wild.
No.
So you
That
and
was
your
such a
Virginia
long
Slim
time.
say goodbye.
No.
Bye.
I tried, and I tried even more. I cried, and I can't recall what for. I pressed, I pushed, I yelled and begged in hopes of some success. But the inevitable fact is that it
I fucking hated that era version.
I tried, and I tried even more. I cried, and I can't recall what for. I pressed, I pushed, I yelled, I begged in hopes of some success. But the inevitable fact is that it never will impress. I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have runneth dry. I've tried to go fuck shopping, but there's no fucks left to buy. I've no more fucks to give, though more fucks I've tried to get. I'm over my fuck budget and I'm now in fucking debt. I strive to get everything done. I've played by all the rules, but I've very rarely won. I've smiled, I've charmed, I've wooed and laughed, alas, to no avail. I've run round like a moron to unequivocally fail. I've no more fucks to give, my fuck fuse has just blown. I've been hunting for my fucks all day, but they've upped and fucked off home. I've no more fucks to give, my fuck rations are depleted. I've rallied my fuck army, but it's been fucking defeated. The effort has just not been worth the time or the expense. I've exhausted all my energy for minimal recompense. The distinct lack of acknowledgement has now begun to gall, and I've come to realize that I don't give a fuck at all. I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have flown away. My fucks are now so fucked off they refuse to fucking stay. I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have gone insane. They've come back round and passed me while they're fucking off again. I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have all dissolved. I plan many projects but my fucks won't be involved. I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have all been spent. They fucked off from the building and I don't know where they went. I've no more fucks to give, I've no more fucks to give. I've no more fucks, I've no more fucks, I've no more fucks to give.
I feel that adequately describes the end of our stream tonight. So, without further ado, thank you all for showing up. It's been fun. This is Winchester 572 going 10-7. I'm out. Bye-bye.